Okay, how's it going, everybody? It has been a long and kind of tiring weekend, but a really good one. We all got back from Nats. This video was late because of that, but you know what you're gonna do. If you're doing events and YouTube, really good experience. I think I even caught the sun a little bit looking at this, which I hadn't noticed. So you know, that's that's rare, but it happens. Yeah, I think I'm gonna start off with talking about that after saying Con was really cool and picked up this week's coffee, which is Buxton Coffee Roasters. It's a blend from Brazil, Ethiopia, and Thailand, and it is meant to be chocolate, hazelnut, and citrus. I've just got that with a little bit of milk and honey, and yeah, I've had it before. It's really nice. So we've got the coffee. We're going to talk about the cardboard. That's kind of the format. I haven't soloed one of these in a while, but let's see how we get on. I'm just going to move OBS over here. Yeah, so the event, we got there on the Friday, made sure our attendance wasn't required, didn't opt to go for any side events because I didn't have like a little for fun deck for the side events on the Friday, and I didn't really want to run the risk of playing someone in the side events, then playing them in the main event. It's very unlikely, but turns out that'll come up later. So yeah, ended up having a great Friday night. We hung out, saw a little bit of Birmingham, which was great. Way better than what I've seen before. I've been to Birmingham before, but never particularly, never found anything too fun in the direct centre. But it turns out on the outskirts, it's not too bad. And what I'm actually going to do, let's move OBS back over there because I really don't need it, and it's making my eye contact for the camera look all wrong. But yeah, that coffee's great, by the way. Would definitely recommend. Definitely less rocket fuel than the Skull Crusher, and just more a nice little treat. But yeah, so the Friday we had a few drinks. Ended up renting out a really nice house for relatively affordable. It was like a 3-floor townhouse. Ended up bunking, so like me and Con ended up bunking together. Tom got a solo room because he was driving, doing all the hard work there, and he tends to go to bed early, whereas we tend to stay up and test and drink and stuff. Yeah, and Tom and Josh were together because Josh is the only one who can tolerate Moz's, not Tom and Josh, Moz and Josh were together because Moz is the only one who can physically tolerate Moz's snoring. So that was the layout. Yeah, really great. Really great. Doing it as part of the team, so it's way more affordable. Even if it's not like a team as such, just get a bunch of friends together. Like it was so much cheaper than any other kind of just singular hotel could have been, and a way better experience. So then moving on to the Saturday, I can't really speak to anyone else's experience, but the venue was perfect, Neuron was perfect, everything ran smoothly. It was the polar opposite to the YCS. Everything was smooth, everything was easy, everything was just perfect. It is what you would expect from an event. We didn't end up late to anything like due to anyone else's like any organizational issues. Like it just ran smooth. The announcements were great. They weren't getting muddled up because there wasn't too much going on. I know more can be better with side events, but yeah. So round one, I end up playing against a really nice dude. Everyone was really nice. I'm gonna end up saying this so much. Everyone was fantastic at this event. I had no bad experiences, but like really cool dude. We had a bit of a chat before it started. You know, that kind of like loosening up, shaking off. Like, I get a bit nervy if someone's like really rigid. I like to just talk a little bit of shit before I start playing a game. Yeah, it was great. I full combo math mech boarded him, and he was like, I can't play through that. I'm just going to game 2. Which is, it sounds like a great position, but it's not. I like to get at least a little bit of information, but yeah, he just went straight into game 2, and then dropped Altergeist on me, and yeah, dragged me into simplified game states, and MathMech cannot play through that. My hand in, I feel like I either got interacted with in a way that stopped me putting out significant board presence in game 3, or my hand couldn't facilitate it, because that turned out to be his entire game plan. It wasn't a bad one. He was really comfortable with the deck, and it paid off against me. I ended up chatting to him later, and he was like, yeah, you go into it expecting to lose game 1, catch everyone off guard because no one is playing Altergeist, which pretty much guarantees game 2, and then it is a 50-50 on game 3, just based on the interaction that he had, or the hand that they had drawn, or, you know, like, it can go wrong as well. I believe, what was my next match? So Geist, which really caught me off guard. Then I believe I played against Goatee Fish. So yeah, Banishy Fish, and again, I full combo boarded, kind of ripped everything apart. The Math Mech full combo going first turn 1 board is ridiculous in my opinion, because the interaction's so varied. You can blow everything up in the front or the back, and it either dodges it, or it doesn't have the significance to it, or you've insulated yourself. It is a nightmare. So I expected that. Game 2, I made a crucial mistake. I evenly matched, and then tunnel visioned on my OTK line, went for the double attack with the access code, and he was like, you've had a battle phase. And I was just like, I have indeed. So, lost game 2, went into game 3 just completely on tilt, and Fish can play out a Banished, which is really weird to interact with. Again, didn't kind of like get to my best board. I actually think I copped for dealing with some bestials in game 3, if memory serves, which kind of jammed everything up a little bit. I probably drew into closing the game out, but had taken damage, and I was just sat there like, look, dude, I can't OTK you in 30 seconds. I've got the card, but that's your game. I can't OTK through interaction in like 27 seconds. Wasn't going to happen, so pretty cursed run from the start. But again, super nice people, so I wasn't exactly salty about it. I kind of figure if you're having good chats with cool people, you know, it's a game. Sometimes your runs are great, sometimes they're just not. Sometimes they're a little bit cursed, and you deal with Altergeist and Fish that banish. So then I was in a position of, if I lose a game, I'm kind of dropping and looking at like side events, or just going hanging out and doing something fun in Birmingham with the guys, depending where everyone else was up to. I think Con was in the same position as me, and Tom Moz and Josh were going strong. So game 3, I want to say it was Gold Pride Punk. All I can say is I'm sorry for hitting you with your own pep, dude. Yeah, super cool deck. I just drew well. I just drew really relevant interaction, and MathMech did its thing. Ended up closing the game out with a thrust into like a triple tack. Or it may have just been a triple tack. I think I got hand trapped, but either way, triple tack was live. Took the pep, close the game out. Really cool though, and again, really nice chats. After that, it was Manadium, super heads up deck, really cool. Kind of had me on the back foot. Again, really nice dude. Ended up taking that match, took the set. Yeah, it doesn't like Droll, but a lot of decks don't right now. Game 1, I think it was full combo board, which again, I don't see many people playing through it. I'll put my list up, even though it's less relevant now post ban list, but we'll talk about that. But yeah, full board game 1, pretty sure that sealed the deal. Game 2, I got OTK'd. Game 3, I managed to seal the OTK. If I remember right. And then the one that took me out, it was Super Heavy Samurai, and it was so heads up. So game 1, a terrible hand. I had to I won the die roll. I had to use Sigma Special Summon, then target it with an extender it was either addition or subtraction to get into Alan Version to try and unlock my plays. I made a board. It was not enough. Yeah, I couldn't get to any of my serious blowouts. I think I got hit with Droll as well. Can't remember, but either way, it was a subpar board. Wasn't enough. Super Heavy is just really overwhelming. Game 2, Rainbow comes in. All the absolute hate crime cards come in that just completely shut down Super Heavy. Rainbow gets dropped, and he's like, I don't have an out for Rainbow. Goes into the side. So he sets up a quick effect MST, which is one of the super heavies in game 3. I dropped the Rainbow after Dark Ruler in, and I'm like, right, I bought myself some time, because the bad thing that happened in game 3 is I drew like Ib, Rainbow, crossouts, like all these things to kind of insulate my full combo or lock the game up and like get it into a gummy state where I can set my board up, but they're seriously hindered. Or they have to divert to just try and out the floodgate. And Karma, that like kind of comes around. Siding like that, I drew all of the hate and insulation and none of the combo. It happens again. Incredibly cool guy, and yeah, that took me out. So I ended pretty mid. This is probably the worst result I've had, but the most fun I've had, which is really strange. It's not strange. It's just how it goes sometimes. So yeah, that was my main event. We did side events. That wasn't super serious at all. It was me, Tom, and Moz. I ended up accidentally being team leader, but that was fine. I'm not sure about Tom's game, but I believe I lost, drew, lost against Furniture Labyrinth. Drew against Pirelli. Really tough game. Noir is a card, and then some. It was kind of one of those weird things where I put up my giant towers, he put it. Thanks. Tom, just edit that out, or don't, whatever. I put up my towers, he put his towers. We were kind of just staring at each other, and then it was like, right, game 3, you can make your towers bigger, my tower stays the same size. So game 3, we went into time in battle phase, but I had it was just before battle phase, but I had like terahertz up. I had my super factorial to out the threat on the board, a Ling in front, just in case for any trap effects. So yeah, it was one of those where we just went into time. Neither of us could close the game out. Chill draw. The last one was someone playing Scareclaw. Like a shout out to Rev's Cards friends. I think they were friends or they went to his locals, but really cool people. Absolutely lovely interaction all around the board. I know Tom and Moz had so much fun of like playing against their opponents in the 3v3. And yeah, same. It was great. Just exactly what you want from going to an event and playing against people, win or lose. Like if you can come out of a situation like just being like, oh yeah, I absolutely got rolled, and still say that you had like a ton of fun. That's kind of what I'm there for. Win or lose. Nice people being nice. Yeah, that was on the Sunday, the side event. We were gonna do another one, but the times kind of messed up, so Josh went off and did. We lent him to another team for the day, and they were on the ball enough to get into the next one, but we weren't. So we ended up hanging about. Con, the absolute madman, bought like 6 boxes of maize, chasing after a Baron. Ended up getting like a good couple of XLs, but I'll hopefully let him tell you about it in his segment because we're just gonna edit all this together. Yeah, and then we came home, and it was great from start to finish, and I am glad to be home. I'm super tired. I'm looking forward to playing some DBD tonight. So with that, I'm going to pass you over to the capable hands of Tom, and then I'm just going to leave a couple of seconds for Tom to have a nice clean cut. Talk to Tom.
Hello, my turn now apparently to discuss how I found regionals. I found that it was in NEC in Birmingham and I put it in my sat nav and then it was good fun. It's my first major event, which I think was quite a good start because apparently YCS was just a bit of a snitch now. But yeah, I had a very good time. Round one, I was against an Eldritch player. I unfortunately was not playing Eldritch in the main event. I should have done. I think I would have done better, but I played a going second Dino list just because, it has a chance against Kashtira, whereas Kashtira just banishes half of your Eldritch deck, and then you just go, "Oh, this was a fun interaction, wasn't it?" So yes, I played going second Dino. Played against Eldritch round one, and I took that. It was a good early victory. Got all the way up to table 27 for my second game. Played against Pirelli. I felt like I played that quite well. I took game one. Game two, I was in control. I timed my interruptions well, but that deck just keeps going, doesn't it? It just you think you stop it, and then they just play another spell. So I just managed to lose game two and then lost game three. Round three was against MathMech, and unfortunately I just didn't really draw any engine in any of those games. And when you're against MathMech, if you're not able to stop them going into turn three to OTK you, there's nothing you can do about it. And that happened 2 games in a row for me. So that was a very quick third round. It took 8 minutes for me to scoop up both games. Round four, I finally got to meet a Kashtira player in real life. That deck's stupid. I still didn't appreciate having half my deck ripped out and banished and being playing under a macro, even when not playing Eldritch. By that point, I was X3, so I knew that I was out, basically, but I decided to just play another round, just for something to do. Played against Cash again. I hate that deck. I wasn't having fun. Dropped after that one. I think I took a game in that one, though. Took a game in round 5, so got that going for me. And both me and the guy were both, because we were like so far down the tables at that point, we were just... It was a fun game, it was a fun interaction. As fun as an interaction with a Kashtira deck can be, I suppose. So then that was it on the Saturday. did my best to not spend much money. We went to a restaurant on just across the convention centre, had some lovely Vietnamese food. It was amazing. And then Sunday rolled around, we did a 3v3, me, Aidan and Moz. I switched to Eldritch because, as you know, Eldritch's best deck. So, round 1, I was against Gold Pride. No, I'm lying to you. I'm sorry. It was Sprite, Punk, Sprite, Runic. That was it. It was Punk, Sprite, Runic. Yeah, that just kept doing things, and I wasn't a fan of that. They took game 1. Game 2, I unfortunately... No, actually, no. I took game 1, and I lost game 2, and then game 3. I think I just mistimed my judgment. I shotgunned it, activating it, Runic Fountain, not thinking that he had a Spell or Trap Negate in hand, which he then used to negate my skill drain, and then he just went off, and there wasn't a whole lot I could do from that. Second round was against someone playing the same deck, but I drew better, and they didn't have the Runic engine as well, which just kept them drawing and keeping advantage. So I was able to just outgrind them both games, won that one, and then round 3 I was against the posse from Rev's Cards, and he was playing Kashtira again, so I had to play against Kashtira again, and Eldritch doesn't like that deck just as much as Dinosaur doesn't, so all in all, I didn't do too hot, didn't have a great record, but I did have a good time, which you could argue is the point of playing the game, to have fun. So yeah, that's my thoughts and feelings. I believe now I'm going to throw you over to Con.
So, my experience wasn't too bad, to be honest. I lost a lot of games. I'm not gonna lie to no one. One of the things, I won a few here and there, but nothing where I could actually get a whole point on the board to actually transition into anything else. First person I went against was Sprite. Well, to be honest, it's not a bad matchup, if I'm totally honest. It was Sprite Live Twins, so it just went forever. The combos went on and on. And in game 2, I did alright for the first game, ended up pulling out a win, but then he then knew for a fact I was going to go first, pulled out kaijus and the rest of it. So when you set up the negations on the board using any sort of salad play, you need the salads on the field to actually use the cards themselves, or in hand to use the destructions. So take salads off the field along with the access code, and I then no longer have an ability to negate or do any sort of counter play. So game 2 was a flop, and then he went first again on game 3 and has proceeded to beat me up because I bricked. It's one of them. My second match was weird because he was playing like Pearly or something, like some cats. Apparently they'd been hit hard, but they just proceeded to take every single thing out my graveyard and stack it under theirs, and then take everything out of theirs and stack it under their cards, and then it makes the card unaffected. So once there was one on the field what I couldn't get rid of, I then couldn't get rid of the second one when it come round. So when it come down to me trying to be sly and use certain things, he does say bounce that straight back to your hand. So all the setup that I'd end up trying to do, it just go straight back to my hand, and that happened for both games in a row. Like the second game on it ended up going to time because we had about 16 rounds. Like we just stood there looking at each other for most of the time where we couldn't do anything and I couldn't do anything. So it wasn't the worst, but at the same time losing on time was a bit horrible. And the same thing happened in game 3. So I end up, I can't even remember what they were, if I'm totally honest. Apparently they was good in like 2014 or something along them lines, but because I didn't have a clue what they actually were, when I interacted with them, it was fine, but then it's only because of Droll that it completely shut him down. So I took a game off him from there, but then in game 2 and 3, I didn't have a Droll, so they could combo for days. So literally, I don't know what the sort of cards they were, I'm not going to lie to you, but they comboed forever. And then by the time it got to the end of like game 2, there was hardly any time in the round. So what I'd normally do is end up drawing cards using Heat Soul, and I just thought to myself, there's no point even trying to do that, because if I burn myself for 2k with 5 minutes left on the round, he might not even finish his turn in them 5 minutes and I've lost. So I tried to go into I can't remember what the dragon's called. It's a 5. So I tried to do that, so we had some sort of interaction, so I can destroy. Well, I can negate back row, and also negate monsters. But the timing's a bit weird in the monster negate. So nothing really happened from there. He ended up hitting me, and I just lost, just like that when time ran out. So 2 games went to time, and the first game I got rolled by Sprite Live Twin. So, way cookie crumbles, really. I didn't even do any side events. Didn't do none. I just enjoyed my time in there, to be honest. I let the big boys roll into the side events, because at least if they win something, they'll win something, and they can't point the finger at me. It's one of them. Even though Tom played Eldritch, so everyone pointed the finger at Tom there for some reason, even though he's quite good with Eldritch. In your face, Tom, I guess. Proceeded to do me footing. For some reason, I've got to injure myself every time we go away. So I either lose a finger, and this time I've lost an ankle. Just because I stepped on my own foot sideways, so apparently I've got weak ankles like Kronk. So, yeah, that's the thing. Not really too sure what else there is to say. We had a good time. We got shit-faced most nights. So that wasn't too bad, but then it's just the way it works, I guess. You win some, you lose some. At least I won more at the YCS, if I'm totally honest, than I did this time around. At least I pulled a game of 2 out of YCS. That's something, but yeah. It's one of them. Hopefully when something else like this comes around, I'll have a bit more experience under my belt to actually know the decks that I'm playing against, rather than me trying to interrupt things that I think are important and they turn out to be things that just aren't. It's one of them things like ashing a fossil dig or something like that against dinos, when really it's Misk you should be hitting with the ash. But hey, that's the way things work. Things come with experience, and when you're playing new things you haven't seen, it's kind of hard to predict things along them lines. That's really about it. We just enjoyed the sunshine. Moz proceeded to beat everybody at pool. So if you ever see Moz, don't put money down on pool, because he'll take your money. I wish I knew that beforehand. It's one of them. He proceeded to embarrass quite a lot of us. One of them from there. I'm not too sure if Aidan wants me to see anything else on the matter, to be honest. I'm quite simple. I didn't really do much when I was there. I just enjoyed the time. I did blow a lot of money opening packs, trying to get a Baron. What we just didn't, for some reason. I got a full Gate Guardian core. Well, probably 2, actually, thinking about it. What? Probably we could have got for 12 quid, rather than paying 400 quid for one. Well, 400 quid for 2. What did we get? We got a collector's rare Blackluster. That's nice, though. We got 2 collector's rares out of the boxes, what we pulled. Well, at least that's something. I pulled my first one, so that's alright from there. And then we got something, it's Jet Synchron or something like that. We got 2 of those. So I wasn't too far off earning my money back on the packs, if I'm totally honest. It's just I kind of wanted a collector's rare Baron to get pulled out of it, and we didn't. So, hey. It's the way things work, I guess. At least Josh won something, though. I think Josh got something like 24 points at the end, because he ended up topping in a 3v3 with him and his mates. So at least some people got something out of it. Aidan and that as well got some points, so he could spend at the shop to get some more packs. And Moz being Moz, he can't sit around and wait to open cards, so he didn't record it. One of them. Going from there. So yeah, people.
Hey, it's Josh from the back rooms. I really did enjoy travelling to Nationals with Think. They had a blast. We did loads Yu-Gi-Oh! And non-Yu-Gi-Oh! Stuff. It was kind of sick all around. The actual Nationals was super good. No issues with the organisation. Everything ran smoothly. With the new neuron integration, everything seems to be flowing super smoothly. And the cafe at the back sold some pretty nice food. So I've got no complaints on that front. For the main tournament, I went in with no prep, thanks University, but I was pretty happy with the Rikus and Avalon list that I used. I do regret maining Bells, but aside from that, it seems to be alright. The issue was, I messed up loads. I ended up going X3 after round 7. I'd misplayed super hard in a fair amount of my games. I was just completely unprepared for everything. I was just out of practice. I've been playing very little over the past month or so. Shout outs to my round 2 Shark player though. It was a super back and forth game we had there. On the Sunday, Hit the 3v3 with two of my mates from locals, playing Terra Elements with some funny spies. This one I did quite well at, actually. Winning 5 out of 6 matches. The one match that I dropped was the one that we all dropped, so it was perfectly fine. I do think the 3v3 format is a little weird, but it's enjoyable. And anyway, in that tip, overperformed super hard. Cash was completely outmatched because I just drew the out. Imagine that. Of course, everyone I met, super nice, super fun. I had loads of fun. Importantly, I really enjoy Yu-Gi-Oh! It's a super fun game. Even when the format's dreadful, games can be super back and forth. You know, it'd be super good to go back again. Would love to go to the next one. Thank you and bye.
And we should be back. Yeah, so we'll get into the news. Hopefully you've heard from everyone who was able to record something to tell you about how they did. So now I can put my OBS over here, because I'm going to be reading over here. So, Salad went ahead and got some new support. This is kind of old news, but we're recording it late. So, it is Salmon Grate of Fire. It's a level 2 Cyberse effect monster, 800 attack, 800 defense. You can only use the first and second effects of this card's name once per turn. Wow. Reading is not going to be my forte today. It's been a long weekend. I've done a lot of reading. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can add one level 4 or lower Salmon Great monster from your deck to your hand, except this card's name. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn, except fire monsters. The God of Stratos. It's a little bit conflicty. So I would have thought the idea is going to be like, go into this mid combo after you're done resolving everything that you want to that isn't fire, and then, but like you've got this and Mirage Dalio that you probably want to resolve after that point. So it's weird for the combo line, but I'm sure like people will lab it. There's no way a Stratos is ever going to be bad. And at the start of the damage step, if your Cyberse monster battles, you can banish this card from your graveyard, destroy that monster you control. Bit weird. Don't understand why. Like, there's times where I guess it could come up. Odd though. I think it's mainly for the Stratos that you'd want to be looking at this. There's new merch. Yu-Gi-Oh! Have partnered with U2s, and these look pretty sick. I actually quite like minifigures. The Blue Eyes is pretty sick. Pre-orders for new collections will be on the 30th at 3. A specific time. 30th of May, yeah, so tomorrow as of recording this video, but probably the day of it airing, so you know what, these should be up maybe depending when it goes live. 3 monster figures also coming, ghost rare chase variants. There will roughly be 1 in 6 figures. They are $30 each though. That's kind of pricey if you're going after ghosts, so maybe look at the secondary market for that. There's a couple of reprints happening for Salad and Battling Boxer, Burning Draw, Transcendence, Star Cestus, and Comet Cestus. Not like huge news, but there it is. They're the remaining reprints for DP28. The Forbidden and Limited list. Oh, so this dropped while we were at the event. We didn't have an editing computer there, which is something we might have to look at in the future. Yeah. It certainly was a list. We were all kind of blown away by it. So, I'm no doubt everyone is up to date with this now, but Cyberstein was, it says limited here. Oh, it was limited before. Now it's gone. So Stein's gone, which honestly not a bad thing. I should probably look at shifting my DTX stereo now, or just hang on to it and hope that one day it comes back. But it's never used for like good things. Stein is always pretty rough. Scarecrow, this shocked me in the sense of like they haven't even had the day in the sun. They haven't even properly had time to shine. Loads of people have just bought this. I mean, when did Sayak come out? It wasn't long ago. Hopefully the deck's still playable. I'm fairly sure it still is as an engine. I think it just changes the lines from a 1-card combo to a 2-card combo, and all of the cards do it as far as I'm aware, or most of them. So we'll have to see, but that's rough. That was like the main point of interaction, so you know it's good. That's the thing you hit. Mind Hacker, great. Absolutely great. Mind Hacker was at the centre of a lot of the problems for Cash Tier, in my opinion. Also, I might end up calling Cash Tier a tier just because they have that in the name and it's become a bad habit. Don't know why I do. But yeah, Mind Hacker, fantastic hit. A pointer of the Red Lotus, it's banned. At this point, I was like, it feels like a Saki one-of, because like you can thrust into it, but again, it can just win you the game purely from the fact of like, oh, you interacted with me, or I just hard drew it. Great, I'm just going to rip your main point of interaction, or your main combo line, or that one hand trap that I do not like out of your hand. Or your board breaker or whatever. Yeah, it's arguably as good as Dust Shoot, maybe better, depending. Yeah, and then Expulsion, great. Like, I don't think this is going to stop the locks, but it, you know, it needed to go. I would have liked to see Lost go as well, if that's the case, because you take Expulsion away. There's the new Expulsion on legs, which is one of the new fusions. I would have liked to see Lost go, so you can meaningfully interact with it, and stop it before it happens. So yeah, newly limited Blaster. We all saw it coming. It was about time. Circular. I feel a little attacked. Personally hurts. No, it's fine. I think I might be coping a little bit. I doubt it. With all the new support we've just got, I think I now have 7 copies of it instead of 9. I'm fine with that. Really. Gamma is super weird. To 1. Like 2, maybe. Maybe that would have made some sense if you just like, well, you might draw the brick almost as much, but now you're literally going to draw the brick as much as you're going to draw the Gamma. So the way that I think people are dealing with it is they're looking at the spell negate, because spell is your next most common after monster. And I would assume that you'd run like 2 of the spell negate and a Gamma, or 3 of the spell negate and a Gamma and a driver. Yeah, just so the brick is not too bad. I think people are keeping hold. People have dropped serious money on the collector's rares for them as well. Yeah, Denglong. I've had conversations with Moz for a long time about Denglong, and he is convinced that it shouldn't come back, and that it is a bit of a forgotten about how nasty it is. So, on the surface, it just grabs the counter trap in a level 5 synchro, Counter traps are pretty strong. In fact, I don't think I ever lost a single game at Nats when I had conflict set. Like, counter traps can be that relevant. I think people have kind of forgot just how hard they hit now that we're not looking at like crescendo and whatnot. Now that you're not getting roared all the time. But yeah, in archetype, counter traps can be nuts. But on top of that, you're looking at building a board into, you know, like synchroing your opponent's turn and all sorts. From what I've heard, I don't know the lines. I'm certainly going to look into them. But Denglong's... Some people are like, this is crap now. Some people are like, this is pretty much just modern now. So it's in line with power. And others are saying it's nuts. Arise Hearts 1... I don't hate this. It makes the deck a lot more fragile. But at the same time, noticing here they haven't really taken any meaningful hits to the main deck, which, you know, I think the deck is in good shape. It's fine. It's just their Arise Heart is a little more susceptible. But I honestly think it's still the best deck from what I'm seeing. Delicious Memory, that hurts Pirelli a lot. And again, they've not even had a chance to put up results. They've not had a chance to do anything meaningful. It's kind of a shame, and it's too soon in my opinion. Don't get me wrong. I think Scarecrow and Pirelli, absolutely hits that needed to happen, but not now. Not right now. Sacred Tree, it's the non-once per turn. Yeah, that's fair. I would have liked to see Runic get hit a lot harder. I would have liked to have seen Sprite get hit a lot harder. And I'd like to have seen Cash get hit an awful lot harder. Not gutted, but like... The OCG has kind of proven that if you're going to play this engine, then you can give up your normal summons. So if Raysoth gets hit, a staple in the OCG for them seems to be Planet Pathfinder. Add a little bit more fragility, a little less consistency. It'd still be playable, but it's just barely touched now. It's still the best deck. We're still very much in cash format. Semi-limited, Herald of the Orange Light, it's probably fine. I mean, Drytron isn't really Drytroning too hard right now, and Tyr with the Ashizu cards, they're all limited, so that's probably fine. Unicorns 2, slight reduction in consistency. Lightning Storms 2. I mean, I've never played it at more than 2, so, you know, whatever. I hate semi-limits. It's either a quarantine for seeing if a card can come to 3, or it's for Mali, in my opinion. Semi-limits, just, they aren't it. Runic Fountain, I'm pretty sure everyone already played it at 2, so this is tone deaf. Sprite Starter. They have 5 copies of blue instead of 6, or whatever. Like, it's barely a touch. Engage to 2 is pretty big and pretty cool. I'm all for seeing a little bit of like toss decks back in the format. Yeah, but as the title suggested though, in the article, still no harp. So yeah, Engage, I'm all for it. I'm all for labbing with it, seeing how it goes. I think Striker is one of the best decks for new people to teach like slower interactions, so it's cool. Unlimited, Steam the Cloak was limited. Yep, it's fine. Birdman was limited, probably fine. Samsara Lotus, Little spooky, but probably fine. Quick fix, yeah. Master plan's still on the list. Recital Starling, yeah. This was bound. Draco Face Off, that's interesting. And multi-roll straight to 3. So Striker have got a lot, which to be fair they kind of needed. The rest is kind of just cleaning the list up, I think. We're not dealing with Hulk, so all these tuners are peeling off. Draco Face Off, I know people say it's pretty big, but I honestly don't know much about it. Let me know in the comments if it's particularly bad that it's come back, or if it's fine, or, you know, if it was due a long time ago. Yeah. Also, really weird that it was a Saturday. That was very surprising to me. Was it a Saturday? I think it was the Saturday. Could have been the Sunday. Either way, he drops it on a weekend. It was odd. Moving on. There's a new card coming called Absolute Power Force. We're just back into the regular news now. It's coming in the SD46. Target one Red Dragon Archfiend you control. If that monster you control battles an opponent's monster this turn, apply these effects until the end of the damage step. The targeted monster gains 1,000 attack. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects. If the targeted monster attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage. Any battle damage your opponent takes is doubled. Does a lot, but not a lot at the same time. Yeah, I'm not massively impressed, but cool. Master Jeweler's got an S-Force mode because the ladder is still unplayable unless you like their elements. New merchandise coming from, I think, Good Smile. So it's the Nendoroid Yu-Gi-Oh figures for DM. I mean, oh yeah, not for DM, for GX and 5Ds. Yeah, not really my kind of thing, but if you're into it, there it is. More merchandise. There's a lot of merch this week. Kybercore merch. Yeah, Pod's case is kind of funky. None of this really does it for me personally. But the enemy controller big cushion looks pretty awesome. I would not mind one of them. $40 US isn't too bad. Oh, $40 US for the puzzle cushion and $90 US for the enemy controller. Apparently I just have expensive taste. And there's new Charmer figures coming. Their pre-orders will be opening when? 30th of May, so again, probably when this is uploaded, so go ahead and get your Charmers if you're into it. The fan favourites. The figures look like the really high quality. Probably not something to my taste personally, but you know, if you're into it, now you know, go buy the things. Mexico had their Nats, and from what I'm seeing, it was pretty much standard. Cash tier at the top. Belgium had the Nats. Pirelli took it, but under Pirelli, a sea of Cash tier and a singular Gold Pride, which is Gold Pride Punk. Nice and interesting. I love this deck, even though it's kind of just been hit a little bit in the you can't like e-telly out a Psyframe Gear Gamma. That's kind of a consequential hit to Sprite as well, but I mean, we're past that section. Yeah, really heads up deck. I really like it. I need to grab a Punk Engine and the remaining bits that I need of Gold Pride, because I will probably play this at some point. YCS Santiago, once again, we don't know who, well, we know who won, we don't know what they played. They wouldn't have said the deck, but Jesse Cotton came in second with Cash Tira, Got more Cache Tearer, Plunder Patrol, very interesting that got there, and Stun stands out to me, mainly because it's branded Stun, and that was in the top 32 of the YCS, so kind of impressed. This is super cool. So, I thought I was super original and never seen it before. For the last YCS, I was also playing, I mean, I'm sure my video was up for this. I'm 100% sure. So I was playing the Fenris and flexing into Pep. And this looks very similar. Except they've gone for a 54 card deck with a bunch more hand traps and leaned into the idea a lot harder, I guess, of the higher deck count. Yeah, it's kind of wild to see the, like, I don't know, what do you call it, where two people have the same idea completely separately and independently from each other. Converging no, it's not converging. It's an evolutionary term, but either way, yeah, this is spooky similar, and I've not seen it much at all. Obviously, I like the idea because I did it myself. So, yeah, well done, Francisco, and congrats on the top. We just skipped 2 ahead. And we're back after I just completely mashed the buttons on the keyboard. Do you know what? That probably isn't even worth an edit. Anyway, this is the branded stun list. It's pretty interesting. I fully expected to see Morganite in here. I'd be interested to see how this is played. Yeah. Really interesting list, and I mean, as interesting as stun can be, I guess. Bulgaria had the national championships. It's generally quite a much of a muchness, except what got past me before. Salomon Great managed to sneak into the top 60, which is pretty cool. Unfortunately, we don't have a list, but yeah, I might have chugged my coffee in between a restart there. Might have been a mistake. Croatia, again, it's the meta. It's pretty standard, apart from Eldritch, which I believe is where everything went wrong, which sounds like Eldritch. Draco Utopian Aura. We actually picked up a bunch of these because we figured it's pretty cool. Yeah. So... it's pretty much Lich. It's very Floodgate heavy, which seems to be where they're leaning now, less interactive. I know Lich has always been Floodgate heavy, but obviously we're not seeing stuff like IDPs and whatnot in here. It's nice to still see the punishments, the TTETs, and it's weird for me to say D-barriers as the more interactive side, but you know, when you're comparing it to like Rivalry, Gozen, and Skill Drain, which you have to kind of like cycle out and whatnot. Yeah, and then, oh, there can be only one is in the side. Yeah, it's not fun at all, but it did perform well, so cool. Colombia's national championships. It's good to see Mathmech. Oh, it's Mathmech Firewall. Actually took the entire event. And we have Telenite and Marincess. The Firewall Mathmech is... A lot of people are playing the Guardian. Personally, I've not really leaned into that. I went with the Phantom because I really like the counter trap. Yeah, it's not got Cynet Minings in it either. That's very interesting. That is a really different take on Mathmech, other than the fairly standard Mathmech ratios. And it does not have the inverted, so you are either going defensive line or diameter. You're not having both, from what I can see there. I'd love to see how it works. I also found myself wanting a link spider quite a lot, so that's kind of tempting to grab one from future. Seeing the eccentric, that's a good bridge, but yeah, that's very interesting. The bestial telenites, I know nothing about it, but to call it bestial telenites as well, it is a very small bestial package. I don't particularly know much about the telenites, so I can't really comment. But obviously it did well. And Marincess. So, this is, again, a very cool deck. I feel like it's kind of a kaiju format right now, though, because everyone was prepped for Pirelli. It can flex into some seriously strong stuff like the Ice Jade monster and the Zelantis, just wiping the board and nothing returning. But yeah, I actually think I'll probably end up picking this up at some point. They've teched in one of the Ice Jade cards as well. It's very clearly performed well. I think I'm going to do some learning. I do like some Cyberse. Spain had the national championships, and this is, again, pretty standard. Regular Mathmex are in top court. Brigade Sprite taking second by the looks, which, again, pretty interesting. There doesn't appear to be a list available. Yeah, no, it's not linking us through. And I really need to stop double clicking. Yep. Taiwan had their regional qualifiers, and we only seem to have the lists for 4th and down. So we've got Ishizu Kashtira Telements. This deck's very much still alive. Not sure what that card is. I'll have to have a look into it. But yeah, it seems to be on life support but thriving. What do you know? Same deck. Mathmech in 7th. The OCG still have 3 circular. It's just rude that we don't. Main deck Kurikara is pretty interesting. Aritama and Sakitama. Yeah, we pretty much know all this at this point. Yeah, and they're going for the big firewalls as well. It's good to see. I say good to see. Nobody particularly likes it, but it makes a lot more sense in a Cyberse deck, in my opinion. Pirelli, which is very much Pirelli. They're opting to use the Dark World draw engine. Kashtira is certainly Kashtira. Not seeing much different there. Pirelli again. Nothing really jumping out apart from the new Sky Striker card. Much of a muchness. And yeah, that's Taiwan. So I don't think there's any massive new meta trends from that to pick up on. Mathmech, Dotscaper line using the Aritama Sakitama. It's Mathmech. It's pretty much what we come to expect. I like to see the conflict in there. Yeah, the G Golem is... I opted to not play it, but I quite like it. And I can't wait for this new Link one, which I've said quite a few times. Unless they pull a Wild Survivor and just make it $400 or £400 for what I want out of the set. I'm not salty. You're salty. Pirelli is Pirelli. And this is interesting. Grass Super Heavy Samurai Ishizu Veselinth Adamantipator. Say that 10 times fast. Yeah, they've got a pile. So I'm curious to see if the Super Heavy engine kind of facilitates any piles for us over here. I know Veselinth is apparently very underrated. We don't have Block Dragon though, so that is a pretty big difference. Block Dragon is no joke. Obviously we don't have Grass either. Branded is branded. They're doing the Keeper of Dragon magic stuff, the Nightmare locking. They're doing all the stuff that's a really cool deck that does all the stuff that's absolutely not cool. It's kind of just where Branded's at. And that was pretty much it for mainland China. I'm just going to butcher the name, so just read it instead. And then we're China mainland again, but Shenyang regional. So, first... Oh no, second place. We didn't get first. Oh, first, second. Yeah. Shizu Tournaments. They seem to be running a little bit of a fire truck engine in there. I'm pretty sure they're rescue base. But yeah, it's still alive. Kashtira, again, it's Kashtira. They've got the reborn trap or the recycling trap in there. And I'm assuming this is a DDD, but I'd have to look into it. Yeah, but differentiating on like extra decks slightly, but it's much of a muchness. Running there can be only one in the side is kind of interesting. Vanquish Soul, what's it like to be able to play that for a reasonable price? Yeah, it looks sick, it looks great, it looks like so much fun. I'm going to be waiting a lot of months before I find out just how fun it is. Shizu Tier. Again, we're seeing the inclusion of this Rescue Ace engine, so that might seriously be something to look into in our builds. I don't see why we couldn't, unless it specifically interacts with snow, which I doubt. Or yeah, maybe Cub or something. I'm not sure. But either way, otherwise, that might be good to go. I'll have to let Josh know. And we have China mainland again with a name that I'll butcher, so I just won't. Super heavy samurai. Super heavy samurai. Must be nice to have Scarecrow, and they've found a way to start gimmick locking. Oh, why? That's awful. If you're looking at this, don't learn how to gimmick lock with super heavy. No. That's bad. And they have Gamma at 1 as well. And they're still playing it. Pirelli is Pirelli. Ex-Sister. They really need the Spirit engine, but are kind of cool. It's a pretty interesting choice. That seems to be like one of their upper rogue picks. Ishizu Unchained Labyrinth. That's sick. But I can't see the Unchained cards. There's one there. And one that... We're calling this Ishizu Unchained Labyrinth. It's 2 cards. But yeah, I am looking forward to new Unchained support. That's pretty sick. I like it. Yeah. Couple of Chaos Angels and yeah, the new stuff. Oh, it's okay. We've got a lot of extra deck Unchained. That's pretty sick. Bestial Dragon Link is Bestial Dragon Link. I'm not seeing anything mind-blowing at a glance. Apart from they just have every gnarly synchro in the book going for them. Super Heavy Samurai. Kind of the same. Of flexing into Nat Beast as well. Just what they needed. More Super Heavy. yeah. So straight away, I think the biggest thing that I picked up on here is definitely having a look at the Rescue Ace engine for elements. The full metagame breakdown for the OCG for this week: 32 Pirelli, 26 Mathmech. It's looking like Mathmech is pretty much definitively the second best deck now in the OCG. 20 Super Heavy, 18 Adamantipator, 17 Runic, 14 Cash Tira, 13 Branded, 12 Rescue Ace. Rescue Ace is performing really well, as is Vanquish Soul. 11 Elements, 8 Labyrinth, 5 Rika, 4 Exorcist, 4 Magician, 4 Unchained. It's nice to see Unchained doing things. 2 Adventure Synchron, 2 Chimera, 2 Hero, 2 Mathmecha Agnista, 2 Sprite Tri Brigade. That seems to be pretty underpowered in the OCG. 2 Striker, 2 Tenyi Sword Soul, 1 Adventurer in for Noble Knight, and the rest are one-offs. Yeah. So we've got Pirelli, which is Pirelli with the Dark World engine, draw engine. Mathmech is pretty much what we've come to expect of OCG Mathmech. It looks like that Link one is absolutely a staple. Super heavies are pretty much super heavy, you know. I've not seen any. I'm not seeing rainbow in any of the sides, which seems to, you know, seems to be relatively leaving super heavy pretty unchecked. Adamantipator, again, Block Dragon is a hell of a drug, and yeah, very much a monster mesh. Unless it's so profitable you can't not with stuff like Grass. Runic, this just grosses me out, and I don't want to look at it too much. 3 card of demise and just jamming people under a mano while runicking. No, don't like it. Stop it. Yeah, that's pretty much the OCG right now. In contrast to us, they seems pretty healthy. All in all, surprised how low Cash Tira has dropped, but we're still seeing it in top cuts. Yeah, I think that is everything. So, this is gonna be a nightmare to edit on, and I am kind of somewhat sorry-ish, but my internet went down. What do you want from me? The coffee again was Buxton Coffee Roasters. I'm not sure how well you get them internationally, but it's Blend 47, and I will see if they have a website. Con was so impressed. I think he did mention getting more in of these because he saw a bunch of them. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell icon, do all that good stuff. If you're new and we met you at the YCS, shout yourself out in the comments. You were all fantastic. It was great to meet you all. Yeah, have a great week, everybody. We'll be back with regular scheduled stuff now for a bit. I don't think there's any more events on the horizon. Namaste, fuckers. I'm gonna get ready for DBD. I'll see you next time.